A3, A11, B10, B18, C7, C15. That was my GLR 2025. I'm going to start with the micro and then get to the macro of the entirety of the race. Okay, this will be my GLR recap. I was unable to do one last Sunday during the closeout run, which we did at Will Hoovener's house, because I got back like after 1 a.m. So I was like, I'll just wait till next Sunday to do it. Now, it might not be quite as fresh in my mind right now, but, I think it'll be a good reflection time for me and, those who did GLR, participated, and now that we're a week out, kind of come down from the high of the race. So, for me, I thought overall went pretty well. No legs where I got lost. This year, nobody really got lost, at least not, majorly. I got turned around a little bit on A11, but it was for 2 minutes with Jordan Sowash from Emrun. And yeah, outside of that, didn't get lost at all. A3, early one, went pretty well. Will got a little turned around, came in a little bit later than I was expecting, but it was okay because I had a lot of people that I could go catch, which is good. And then, A11 went pretty well. The next day, I was the last person to start, B10. Everybody else had already done a leg. That one went very well. It was in the rain. It had just started raining. And then B18, which was my longest one, 8.2. Starting, the first, it was 10K on trails or so, and then another 2 on dirt. So, went very well, that one. That was by far my best leg. Just felt good. It was raining, so it was a little bit cooler. And, it just felt fresh. Fresh for being day 2, leg 2 of GLR. Then C7, I don't know, anybody who's watching this who did that one, for a 5K route, because that's what it was 3.1, that was about as miserable as it could have been. It was, swampy to start and muddy, and just the trail was really technical and not exactly a fun one for day 3. I was, it said Swampy Leftovers, that was the title, but I did not expect it to be, that bad. But made it through that one. That one was fine. And then C15, dirt road, 2.5 miles. I just did that one the fastest I could. I'm not exactly a raw speed guy, but did what I could on that one. I think I averaged 5:33 or something. And yeah, it was good. Getting to our team right here, we did very well. We ended up 5th, which is 3 spots off where we were last year. Last year we got 2nd, but the circumstances were a little bit different last year. I actually think that our team was slightly better this year. Just the competition was much harder to stay with. Our guys, the new guys, I thought did great on the trails. Highland and Swinson did really well. The Terminator and the Predator. And they both seemed to really like it. Same with Kolka. Hopefully they'll all 3 be back next year. And our returners did great too. I thought, Tom killed it as usual. Ronco, Rizalowski, all the guys. Will did really well. Gedris. And then Xander, who we had to pull off the bench. I don't know if I talked about this in the last one. Xander did his absolute best. I know he was deep in the pain tank by the end of it because he had run, 30 miles a week or so before and had spent a month in Africa from early June to early July. So he had 2 weeks of notice to get into GLR level shape. And there was really no way that was going to happen. So he had to kind of grit it out. We just needed a body out there. And he came through. I thought he did well. So our team, I thought, couldn't have done much better. I thought it went really well. just the other teams, which is what I'll get to, did amazing, to be honest. The team directly ahead of us, the Goblin Gang, was from what I understand, the M-Run upperclassmen currently. And so they're like junior, senior. I think they had one guy who I talked to who was a freshman or maybe going to be a sophomore. But yeah, that team killed it. They were like 7th last year. Yeah, because they were bib number 7. 7th last year, 4th this year. I thought they were about 8 minutes or so ahead of us by the end. I don't know exactly what it was. But day 1, they beat us by like 10-ish minutes. And then I think we beat them by a little bit day 2 and 3. But it was minutes or seconds. Day 2, I know we came ahead of them. But not enough to catch them. That team did super well for a while. Like for big chunks of like day 1 and 2, they were actually leading the whole thing. I know they did a couple things wrong. Like they got some penalties. I don't know exactly what happened with that. But yeah, and then the 3rd place team, Red Cedar team. Last year they were the ones who got lost really bad, which opened the door for a new 2nd place team. And they did like how they normally did each year before last year, which was like solidly the 2nd best team to nondescript, except there was a new team this year, so that's why they were bumped down to 3rd. Yeah, those guys killed it. They were always, I think they finished 3rd every day actually, so pretty consistent. And then before I get to the top 2, the 2 teams behind us were the 2nd through 4th teams from last year were the 5th to 7th teams this year, and then the 5th to 7th teams from last year were the 1st, 3rd, and 4th teams from this year. So it kind of flipped. But yeah, Nearly Naked and Afraid right behind us. The M-Run class of 21, 22 grads, I think. So around my age, those guys. And they're there every year. Always around or within the Big Mug standings. This year they were 6th. And then 7th was other M-Run guys, kind of the generation after Nearly Naked. They were 7th. I don't know exactly what happened with that. I don't know exactly why they were so far back. I think a couple of their guys were like on and off hurt. But yeah, they still did well too. It was just a really tough year, which gets me to the top 2 teams. So 2nd place team, nondescript. I looked back at the records. They won from 2017 to 2019. And then 2020, I think they didn't even do it because it was a like remote year. So you kind of, from what I understand, you went up there by yourself, did it with your team, and then sent the race directors your time. So I think they just skipped out that year. But then from 2021 to 2024, they won it 4 straight. So in my mind, they kind of won it the last 7 years, which is insane that they were dethroned. And from talking to a few of them, it sounds like they were just dealing with a lot of things. One of their best guys got hurt. They did bring in an Olympian, but it wasn't quite enough. I think they ended with 9 guys. So like a few of their guys pulled at the last second, I think is how it went. I don't know exactly. But then the number 1 team, the GLR champions for the next calendar year, is, I think they were called the Queen City Running Company, which I think is Marquette. It's the Queen City. Maybe it's Houghton. I don't know exactly. But it was a collection of very, very fast current college athletes. I think they had 4 MTU guys, Michigan Tech, 2 Oakland, MSU guy, MSU girl, who was very helpful with the handicap, M-Run guy, and then I'm missing one. Former LCC, Liam Elder. All of them very fast, really no weaknesses on their team, and they were all solid at trails, all, I think, 19 to 22 years old. And Zeb Swagger, my former coach's son, was on that team. Thankfully, he didn't rub it in too bad. They beat us for the first time. The last 2 years, we did beat them. But they really upgraded this year. It was very impressive that they never seemed to even waver. Like, no weaknesses. The nondescript guys were really respectful of them. I talked to them about the Swagger Zeb's team, and they were like, yeah, this team is good. Like, really, really good. Like, basically saying, like, they could beat us. This was, like, early day 2. And, yeah, they pulled it off. I'm sure they'll be back next year with probably about the same team. But all of them, great shape. And it was very impressive what they did. Yeah. We're looking to dethrone them next year. We have a few things in the works to try to improve RWA for next year. But really fun time with the guys, as always. Can't wait to do it next year. Very sad that it's over. But I do have an August challenge planned, which I will announce either next Sunday or the Sunday after. So yeah, look forward to that. I think it'll actually be pretty popular amongst the Strava followers. It's creative, I'll just say that. It might not be super challenging, but creative one. So yeah, that's it for the GLR recap. Thanks for stopping by. If you did GLR, congrats to you and your team. Hope it went well. Hope you had fun. I'm sure you did. And yeah, see you all next year at GLR. And Hearts That Runs fans, YouTube fans, see you next week or either the week after. Goodbye.